Have you ever had a strong reaction to someone's tone of voice or a message or something they have said? Got to the point where you reacted and after that you ask yourself, why did I do that? That doesn't even feel like me. I'm gonna be talking about this in today's video, especially about our nervous system and how the nervous system learns to react in a certain way to keep us away from danger, to protect us. Let's talk about the difference between how our nervous system was wired for us and how we are reacting today. Okay, so let's start with this. I want to show you guys how we have wired our nervous system and what happened in order to wire that in order to get that protective mechanism going. This is us. Then something happening to us, right? So we are not happy at all. We are actually quite upset. Once upon a time in our life, in our nervous system, something happened. Okay, so let me write it down. Here's the thing about trauma, because I'm going to be covering a bit about traumatic experiences here, and I want to make it very clear that many of us think that trauma is some huge catastrophic events that happen to us at some point in our life, and those are the only ones that affect us deeply. But there are those instances and there are those learned behaviors and patterns that actually happen even from quote-unquote smaller events that happen to us, because it doesn't have to be this huge catastrophic event. Like I said, it could be how we were brought up, how we were, let's say, neglected, emotionally neglected continuously, and that created some sort of traumatic experience for us, or not being seen, feeling like we are not seen, not visible, not being loved properly, not being appreciated for who we are. And all of these experiences, whether that was in our childhood, they have a huge effect on us, but if it was even later on in life, are going to affect us to some extent. So I want to make it clear that something happened. We are not talking just about huge traumatic experience. There are also these small, continuously gathering feelings and the ways that our nervous system starts protecting us from the perceived dangers, like I said. So I want to put this here as a trauma, because we want to be talking about that as well. But then there are also small events, okay? So smaller events. Smaller events, which some people might think that they are not such a big deal, but if they are continuously affecting us and affecting our nervous system, obviously the nervous system is gonna brace for that, okay? So this whole slide is talking about back in the day when something happened to us and affected us, directly affected our nervous system. So the nervous system here is the nervous system, basically all in our body is being affected and is being in one way or another programmed for what is going on. Whatever you are going through, whatever your nervous system started alerting you that is not safe and that is dangerous, the brain is very intelligent, right? And the subconscious mind store that information as a danger, as a potential threat. So whenever you come in a similar situation that is even slightly similar to what was happening during your childhood or during when this even happened, so whenever that resembles to then, it's gonna happen in the same way when the nervous system is going to start alerting your body to retreat and to keep away from danger. Okay, so this is how it starts. Somewhere, somehow, your nervous system was alerted from danger. No matter how it happened, no matter if it was huge catastrophic event or if it was slow daily neglect or emotional neglect or all these kind of things, your nervous system is gonna wire it literally in your subconscious mind. Both of them are gonna store that as a potential threat and danger. So that's what happened then. And I want to make it very clear that the nervous system is literally our body, right? It's our whole body. So this is where it's stored. The memory and the threat and the danger is stored in our body. So that's why we have to be very cautious about not only trying to understand intellectually what's going on, what happened to us or what we've been through, but we have to connect both our body and mind. But I'm gonna go deeper into that in the next slide, okay? So we can delete this one. Let's go deeper into how the body stores this, like I was talking in the previous slides. The body stores it. It's gonna be a little bit different than I usually do, but that's okay. It's gonna go now like this. These are your hands. Yeah, not great here. How did the body store this information? What I was explaining to you in the previous slide, you were in some sort of situation, event, or continuous situation where you learned, the nervous system learned that whatever was happening, whatever was going on was not safe. So the nervous system, the beautiful intelligent nervous system, alerts us and stores this inside of the body as a threat, right? But we're gonna see it also outside. It's gonna show up everywhere. And I think this should be red because the nervous system learned that this is the potential threat, potential danger. So what we have to understand, what I already said, is that the trauma or those experiences that we consider, the nervous system consider as dangerous, they do not only live in the mind, so we cannot intellectually get our way out of it. They live inside the body, as you can see, right? This is inside of our body. So if we really want to work through this, if we really want to move through this, we have to start working in the connection of the body and the mind combined, because we cannot only intellectually get our way through it. So I want to make it clear that the body stores this information as a potential danger, as a potential threat, and the body keeps the alarm. So the body keeps the alarm. You see the alarm is here. The body keeps it there for potential threat, for potential situation when this comes up again, this danger comes up again. Danger. So the body immediately alerts us and we're gonna get into this response, right? The response can be fight or flight, fawn, freeze, all of these responses that our body naturally gets into depending on what the nervous system learned how to deal with this and how to navigate this. What I want to really point out here, the wound is literally the state of the body, okay? So state of body. We learned certain state of the body where when we perceive danger, we're gonna get into the state of the body immediately, without conscious thought, without understanding and realizing what's happening. That's why I was asking this question at the beginning of this video. If you ever felt yourself in that situation where you were reacting in a certain way that you didn't understand, you couldn't explain that intellectually, but your body, the body was doing actually what it needs to do, what it was designed to do beautifully to protect us from danger. The nervous system turned on the alarm to tell us there is a danger and try to get us back to safety by getting us into the same state of the body that we found ourselves then, right? In the previous slide, when we find ourselves in this state which happened in the certain point of time. And no matter where you are right now, the body is going to be reacting for what it knows, right? The alarm is going to go off because it reminds your body of the danger. I want to repeat it again. Only talking about your problems or only understanding your problems, only intellectualizing your problems is not going to solve that situation, is not going to resolve that situation, is not going to get you out of that bodily reaction of the nervous system. The nervous system literally learns the response. And according to that response, we're going to get into that state. Now, we're going to remove this as well. So the next slide, we want to be talking about what's happening now, right now. So let's write it down. Okay, so it's going to be on this side. What's happening here? This is us now, okay? And we are in this body right now. The alarm goes off. You remember, this is the alarm that we had learned in our nervous system in the previous slide. So this is happening now when something happens. The same alarm goes off, and it's a different day. Because what we have to understand here, guys, is that the nervous system is responding to the past, right? So what I want you to understand, that we are here right now. This is important, okay? So we are here right now. But since we are reacting from the same wound, from the same pattern, from the same behavior, this alarm turns on for the nervous system. The nervous system, like we said, is the body. The body gets alerted. There is a potential threat. There is a potential danger. We immediately get into the state of threat, of danger. We don't do this consciously. That's why you either overreact or react in a way that you are not proud of, perhaps. You do this because we do this. We all do this because this is happening beyond the level of the conscious mind, right? So you don't even have time to think about it. You don't have even time to wonder or have time to prepare your response or choose how you want to respond, because this happens instantly before our conscious mind can understand what's happening, before our conscious mind can decide, okay, I don't want to react like this, I don't want to overreact, I don't want to perhaps shout, I don't want to shut down, I don't want to get into the freeze, because the body here is in charge. The same alarm goes off, it's a different day, and you react the same way because this threat is activated. This wound is activated. And that's why I want to make it clear here, this is happening beyond, okay, I'm gonna write it here, conscious mind. Beyond the conscious, yeah. So it's happening beyond the conscious mind. That automatically means it's happening in the subconscious mind. So the subconscious mind is directly connected with the nervous system. They work as a perfect team. The subconscious mind alerts the nervous system alerts the subconscious mind, and they work together to protect ourselves from the danger. But if we have wired in this behavior, if we have wired in that this is dangerous, this reminds us of something that happened then, immediately we're going to set off the same alarm, going to be living the different day with the same reaction, with the same way that we get ourselves into the response of the nervous system, whether it's fight or flight, freeze, run. All of those are a possibility here, depending on what wiring we have received and we have programmed. So remember that the nervous system is responding to the past. Is responding to the past learned behavior, past learned experience through the bodily sensations. And those bodily sensations are going to bring us immediately to the past. The nervous system is constantly scanning for the danger. Immediately when it scans the danger, when it perceives something as a danger, alarm goes off. Now we want to remove this guy because we have another guy coming up for us on the next slide. Now I want to talk and explain to you a little bit about the actual trigger. Okay, so this is the trigger. So we're gonna be talking about the trigger, and now we need two figures. So this one is in the distance, that's why it's small, and this one is us. So this figure says something. This is what happens. Okay, someone says something, let's say, and we get completely out of control. We get triggered, right? So this is what's happening here. We get into a trigger. Let's say it's a small thing here, right? So small thing happens, but we react in a huge reaction. So big reacting. Some seemingly small thing happens. This person perhaps is not even aware of doing something that might trigger us. It's not their intention. They are just saying something or doing something, and we get immediately completely triggered. We have a huge reaction. Our body immediately goes into the alarm. Alarm goes off. We are completely out of control. And then we get into the reaction of whether fight, flight. I'm gonna write it here, doesn't matter. Frown or freeze. Okay, so we get completely out of control, and that's why this is happening. Like I was saying in the previous slide, our nervous system sets off this alarm because it's reacting to the before, it's reacting to then, it's not in the present moment. Okay, so the trigger is not a reaction to the present moment, it's actually a reaction to the past, to then, to whatever happened to us when this get wired into our system, and whatever will be reminding our nervous system of that even slightly is going to set off this alarm and get us into the state of fight, flight, frown, freeze, overreaction, all of those. Okay, so the nervous system doesn't operate, once again, in the present. It operates in the past, in the learned experiences, in the experiences that are in our body. Once again, this is the nervous system. When it gets triggered, it goes all out of control. Trigger is basically a recognition. When the nervous system recognizes this threat, it recognizes the situation being very, very similar to what we experienced, is gonna set off this alarm. This is completely out of proportion, and that's why usually we, after this happens, we even start questioning ourselves, why did I even react this way? This is not me. We feel like the event didn't even after, obviously after, not during this. During this we could not even consciously understand what's happening, but after that we might understand that this event was not matching the proportion of our reaction. And why is that? Because the nervous system set off the alarm and is reacting to the past experience instead of the present moment, where this is just a small thing or it's not even relevant to this. But since the nervous system is constantly scanning for danger and for potential threat, and it's literally matching it to our past, it's gonna set off this alarm and it's gonna cause us big reaction and all of these other ways that we can go about it. I'm gonna remove this one now. I want to compare then and now on the same slide so we can kind of put it together, everything that I was talking about. now. So here we can compare what was happening then versus what is happening now. I draw a little girl here, but just to make it clear that she is a child and this is the adult us, okay? So you can imagine a little boy here, a woman there, it doesn't matter. So this is our inner child. And adult. So this is adult us, this is the inner child. So guys, I want you to understand that this inner child still lives within you today, okay? And whatever happened to you, whatever you've been through, whether that was a huge event, huge trauma, or those small events that imprinted on you, they are coming within you unless you tend to those needs. And unless you tend to those needs, they are not going to disappear. Our adult self is us right now. And what I want you to really, really keep in your mind is that whatever trauma happened, whatever happened to you before, it happened in the past and it doesn't define you today, okay? So whatever you are bringing with you, you don't have to let it affect you today, right? Because now you're adult, you can take care of yourself, you can heal your wounds, you can attend your triggers, you can do anything and everything in order to live your life as you desire. And you can take care of your inner child as well, okay? So you survived many things and you survived those traumatic experiences or experiences that really, really affected you. But now you can choose what you want to be, how you want to be, and how you're going to move through that as an adult, okay? That's the beautiful thing as being the adult. So you have the possibility. And with this information, you have the opportunity about how you can go about it, how you can rewire your nervous system, how you can rewire your subconscious mind. And one important thing to remember is that the body doesn't automatically update the system just because you are adult now. It takes some time and repetition, and it learns, the body literally learns through the felt experience, okay? So it's not just the intellectual way. You need to connect to your body and you need to teach it in new different ways, but I'm going to be going into that in the next slide. But the body, I want to write it here. So the body, the nervous system, the subconscious mind learns and rewires itself through felt experience and repetition. I'm gonna put it here as well. Okay, so it's the felt experience and the repetition of the fact that the thread is not here. The inner child is still perceiving this as a threat, right? So the threat, the danger is perceived, and then we have to move through that as a felt experience and through repetition, so we can navigate that, we can learn differently. And we need to bring ourselves to safety. So what is our goal here? To make sure that we don't perceive this as a threat anymore, but we learn safety, and the inner child learns safety. We're gonna remove this. And most importantly, safety is a practice, right? So safety is a practice. So what I want to draw right now is this guy. And he is quite happy. I don't know what's always happening with his eyes. It looks very evilish. This is better, I guess. Maybe not. This guy has this protective bubble around himself. He's learning that safety is a practice, and he's practicing the safety in his body, okay? So it is a practice. It cannot be done from one day to another. If you've been years and years, your whole life in a different experience, and your nervous system was setting off this alarm, you need to rewire it. You need to move through that. You cannot think your way to the safety. You need to teach your body. Teach your body. Teach your body safety. So what we want to do to change this situation, to change this nervous system reaction, to change this overreaction that we do not want to be continuing doing, we have to teach the body safety. And like I said, we have to do it via different ways, and we have to be patient with ourselves. We cannot think our way through that, right? The fact that you are watching this video, you are absorbing this information, it's amazing. You have the awareness, you have the tools, you have the information, but what you're gonna do after the video is actually important, okay? So what you gonna do to put this information and leave it into your body, as we were talking that the nervous system learns through felt sensation, felt experience. So how you can bring safety and learn safety as a practice, how you can practice that, how you can learn it and bring it into your body. So first thing I'm going to say is to notice. Okay, so noticing before you react. That split second where you have to think that is offered there for you, you're going to notice that you are in the same situation, the same pattern, the same overreaction before that happens. Notice when that situation happens. That's a first amazing step. The next thing I want you to do is breathe. So if you happen to get yourself in that overreaction, in that fight or flight state, or any of those that we were talking about today, what you want to do is breathe through that. Remind yourself that this is the learned response through your nervous system, and your body is doing its job. It's protecting you from danger, or so it thinks. But you know better. Intellectually, you know better. You understand that you are not dying, the bear is not chasing you in the woods, the tiger is not running after you to be setting off fight or flight, okay? So it is literally a reaction to the old then pattern, to the old emotion and stored experience. So you want to breathe through that and remind yourself, even if it's in your intellectual mind, that you are not dying, that nothing major is happening. It's your bodily reaction, okay? So that's the first thing you can do when you get into that. Another tools that you can actually utilize are hypnosis, some somatic work, because we want to connect the mind and body, right? And therapy. But remember, we want to connect both of those aspects, not just talk therapy, not just working with the body. We want to connect the both of those. So we want to work continuously with the mind and body, so the body can learn that it's safe. This is the safety of the body. The nervous system needs to learn that it's safe. And last but not least, it's repetition. Okay, so repetition is very important. The repetition is very important because the nervous system learned via repetition, because so many times the same situation repeated. That's how it was wiring it over and over again and forcing that wiring. So how are we going to do that? How are we going to do the opposite? We need to rewire it again, the same, utilizing repetition over and over again, bringing our body to safety, teaching our body that it's safe, and learning new ways how to respond, learning the ways how to notice, breathing through that, and utilizing these tools and practices to navigate that. I want to ensure you that change is possible. You can rewire your nervous system, you can rewire your subconscious mind, you can completely change the ways that you used to react or still reacting to this day. It is absolutely possible if you are willing to take the step, if you are willing to utilize those tools and practice repetition. It's absolutely possible. And another thing I want to remind you, that if you find yourself in that situation where you are overreacting or getting into those states, it's also completely expected, because your body is doing the work that it was designed to do. Your nervous system is trying to protect you from danger. Your subconscious mind is trying to keep you away from danger. It is perfectly working for you, all right? So you can rest assured that your body and your mind are working for you. What we need to be doing is to realize how we can navigate both of these aspects in us to make it work for us, because at some point we're going to be facing the pattern where it's not absolutely serving us, where we are overreacting or doing different things that we are not proud of. That's why we do this work. That's why we can rewire the system, rewire the subconscious mind. It is absolutely possible for anyone and everyone. I deeply, fully trust in that. And if you are watching this video, I know that you are already aware of those things. And I know that you are already on the way of changing those things. And the same for me. I was very shy, very afraid to speak up in a public. I had social anxiety. I had a lot of different things that I have dealt with. So I can be the proof for you that the change is possible and it's inevitable if you follow these simple rules and if you start applying those steps, if you start working with the subconscious mind, if you start rewiring the nervous system, and if you get through that first step that is usually the hardest. So this is just a little word from me at the end to encourage you, because I know how it feels. I've been there, trust me. And I know change is possible, and I will do anything and everything to shout it from the rooftops to tell everyone that it is possible. And I deeply trust that. You just have to want it and you just have to go for it. So whatever you've been through, whatever danger you faced, whatever trauma you faced, you are here right now. That means you are safe. And you can choose differently for yourself, and the change is possible. And it's already on the way if you are watching this video.